The life and sad ending of Jeff Buckley. Jeff Buckley was born Jeffrey Scott Buckley on November 17, 1966, in Orange, California. His biological father, Tim Buckley, and his mother, pianist and celloist Mary Guibert, didn't really have a relationship before or after Jeff was born. He met his father only once in his life, at 8 years of age. Tim died of a drug overdose in 1975. He was brought up by his mother and stepfather, Ron Moorhead, in Southern California, along with his half-brother, Corey. Buckley later dubbed his upbringing as a rootless trailer trash, as the family moved around a lot. As a child, Buckley went by the same name Scotty Moorhead, but after Tim's death, he started using his real name and the surname Buckley. However, the members of his family still referred to him as Scotty. He was raised in a musical household. His stepfather, while not a professional musician himself, was a devoted fan to contemporary music, and through him, Buckley learned about Led Zeppelin, Queen, Jimi Hendrix, The Who, and Pink Floyd at an early age. He began playing the guitar at the age of 5. At the age of 12, he decided that he would one day become a musician. He was gifted his first electronic guitar, a black Les Paul, at the age of 13. He studied at Laura High School and joined the school's jazz band. He later attended the Musicians Institute of Hollywood, California, and finished this year-long course. He was 19 then. While he eventually came to regard his time at the school as the biggest waste of time, he did appreciate learning about music theory. Jeff Buckley began his career playing guitar in numerous struggling jazz, reggae, roots, rock, and heavy metal bands. He accompanied the dancehall reggae artist Shinehead on his tour and took part in the occasional funk and R&B studio session. During this period, he exclusively sang as a backup vocalist. In February of 1990, he moved to New York City, where he would first experience Qawwali, a form of Sufi devotional music primarily from India and Pakistan. He became an adherent admirer of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and did covers of many of Khan's songs during the cafe days. He went to Los Angeles with his father's former manager, Herb Cohen, promised to help find him a record demo of original songs. Titled Babylon Dungeon Sessions, the demo was made hoping that it would garner interest in the city's music industry. During this period, Buckley and guitarist Gary Lucas performed at a tribute concert for Tim Buckley. Jeff sang one of his father's songs, I Never Asked You to Be Your Mountain, which was originally written for Jeff and his mother. Jeff used the song to pay his last respects to the departed father of his. In late 1991, he was briefly part of Lucas's band Gods and Monsters and performed around New York City with them. After leaving the band, he garnered modest fame and performed several clubs and cafes around the lower Manhattan, including legendary Cine in East Village. These performances helped him not only develop a loyal fan base, but also attract attention from record label executives. Following the release of Grace in 1994, he embarked on an international tour to promote the album. He traveled to Australia, UK, Scandinavian countries, France, and several other Western European countries, and performed live before his fans there. In October of 1994, he began a tour of the US and Canada. He also visited Japan and New Zealand. In 1996, having finished touring, Buckley started to work on his second album, My Sweetheart the Drunk. However, he was unhappy with the initial material recorded and continued to refine the sound. The album was never completed and was released after Buckley's death on May 26, 1998. Despite releasing after Buckley's death, it was well received by critics. Jeff Buckley began collaborating with record producer Andy Wallace in mid-1993 for his debut album. After organizing a band with bassist Mick Gondhall and drummer Matt Johnson, he also brought the guitarist Gary Lucas to work on the singles Grace and Mojo Pin with him. His debut album, Grace, was released August 23, 1994, and had 6 songs, including Grace and Buckley's cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. The album went on to be a major hit across the globe. In 1998, was a posthumously nominated for a Grammy Award Best Male Rock Vocal Performance for Everybody Here Wants You. In 2006, Grace was cited as the #1 modern rock classic album of all time by Mojo. Grace was ranked at the number 303 in Rolling Stone's 203 Best 500 Songs Ever list. His cover of Hallelujah was ranked at number 259 on the Rolling Stones 2004 list of 500 greatest songs ever. Buckley himself was listed at number 39 among the 100 greatest singers of all time by the magazine in 2008. Jeff Buckley had whirlwind romance with Scottish singer Elizabeth Fraser in the mid-1990s. Smitten by her rendition of one of his father's songs, he took the initiative to contact her in 1994. At that time, he was working on the release of his only album, Grace. They broke up sometime in 1995. Buckley and Fraser recorded a song together titled All Flowers in Time Bends Towards the Sun, but it wasn't released until the 2000s. On the evening of May 29, 1997, Jeff Buckley's band was supposed to meet him in Memphis to work on a potential new album, having flown in earlier that day. The same evening, Buckley decided to go for a swim in Wolf River Harbor, which is a slackwater channel of the Mississippi River. He was fully clothed and even had boots on at the time and was humming the chorus of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. This wasn't the first time he'd gone swimming there. Keith Foddy, a roadie of his band, accompanied him that evening and remained ashore. He was busy keeping the radio and guitar they had brought with them dry when he realized that Buckley had vanished. A rescue effort was launched by the authorities of the same night, but Buckley could not be found. On June 4th, his body was discovered in the Wolf River near a riverboat. After an autopsy, a drug overdose was ruled out and investigators concluded that he had died of accidental drowning.